Hello everyone, System Chalk here. I was going to start on the board for this video, but I did notice something that delighted me when I took a look at the title screen here. It no longer says Perpetual Edition and instead reminds me that I am on the Apostle Obsonate playthrough. So this is the second video of the series. If you want to keep getting the notifications, or if you'd like to start getting the notifications, please do subscribe. Also, as always, feel free to leave a like or a comment. I went in and adjusted the save file so that it reflected my previous character, and I think I might have seen an indication as to who our mystery antagonist is, and if it's true, it's somebody that I have never seen before. So if you're looking for something to say inside of the comments other than whether or not you like the new format, feel free to say who you think the long that we'll be facing is. If, of course, you've never done an Apostle playthrough, I guess you're just going to have to wait and see. But some of you might be curious about who I'm up against, and if the little revelation that I saw was true, this is going to be an interesting challenge, let's say. So we were taking care of business. We've got the Savorous Blood. We are no longer dying. We do have an illness, which I'm going to need to deal with. The way that I sort of handled that was getting some extra vitality from, picking up and putting down heavy things. This vitality is actually going to be just on the brink of expiring when I'm ready to go. It's also very important that I don't combine these into some kind of a lesson learned or anything like that, because I do need to cure the disease. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try and be quick on the draw. I'm going to make sure that I can get my vitality in to heal myself without spending the money, and then I'll just when I'm done with Glover and Glover, I'll take the opportunity to work at the work site again. Right now, money is not a huge concern, but it would be nice not to worry too much about other concerns. The other thing that I also have, of course, is I've got my lore. So once I'm done upgrading Rose, I'm going to be able to use that lore to get some other cult members. I believe if I were, well, I don't have the talk verb available anyway, but I'm also slightly curious. Yes, I can upgrade influence with that, but I do not have anything to mellow the light. So we're just going to wait. We'll let some of our plans come to fruition, and we'll see what we can manage. One of the reasons I let Street Strange by Moonlight walk by was I didn't want to run the risk of getting an additional fascination. Obviously, I didn't use it at the time that I got it. It's not necessary that I do it every single time, but it can give me some influence and some lore depending on what I want to do. So we promote a believer by invoking Grail. In pain we are born, in hunger we are embraced, in delight we are devoured. These are the gates of the body, and this is her promise. Not all that is born decays. In remembrance of that promise, we give ourselves to the feast. Now, I did make an error last time. If I'd really wanted to get rid of the fascination, I could have added that as part of the ritual, and I didn't think to do it at the time. Again, this is one of the things that I was talking about in the previous video, although the way that I'm planning on releasing these, that'll probably have been at least a week ago for you. One of the things that I like about the timers, and one of the things that I like about just running at the normal pace, because it sometimes does give you a little bit of a mental break, is that perfect play is not always possible. It's also not necessarily desirable. Sometimes it's fun to just have an error that creeps in, or to find yourself in an awkward position, maybe not through any, something that maybe you knew better at the time, but because your attention drifted elsewhere, you wound up suffering the consequences. For me, that's really, I relate to that a lot. I definitely think the Aspirant is one that that character seems to be a little bit like who I am as a person. And the fact of the matter is like, yeah, you might have all of the books, but if you're distracted while reading them, you didn't necessarily retain everything, and maybe you don't get to upgrade the lore because you forgot to put the certain detail in. And certainly those of you who've known me for a little bit know that I do tend to get a bit distracted when streaming. So, in pain we are born, in hunger we are embraced, in delight we are devoured. These are the gates of the body, and this is her promise. Not all that is born decays, and in remembrance of that promise we give ourselves to the feast. Now, I really don't need to be pursuing jobs. At this point, I'm kind of falling into the trap of sort of playing the game as I normally do. So there's going to be a couple of things that I do in the meantime that will try and make life a little bit easier for me. Just a quick note as well, when I was talking about changing the save file, that's right here. So it was supposed to be Paul Samuelson. I think either because of the upgrade or because of the coffee spill, my save file got a little corrupted, but we'll make do. Now, I'm not going to be going to the Mansus because, again, I'm going to need that. I'm going to need those resources available, or I'm going to need the dream slot available as soon as I get my sickness. I actually have a lot less time on the vitality than I thought as well. Our mortal enemy has decided on a course of action. Our mortal enemy is preparing their next action. Add a follower strong in Knock or Lantern to try and uncover the long strategy. Add a follower strong in Edge or Forge to delay assaults. Grail or Heart for intrigues, and Moth and Winter for Starlight attacks. So right now I'm particularly vulnerable. I think I don't really have anything for Rose to do right now, so I'm going to send her. Well, if he's preparing an attack, I think we'll let what happens happen. I don't think throwing Rose in for something that I don't expect there to be a benefit for, maybe that's not the right way to go about this. All right, let's watch the timer real quick. Well, I got it, but a little too well, it seems. Damn it! All right. The illness has damaged my health. I'll need to rest before I'm fully recovered. Cure your affliction with funds or vitality. So, of course, I can spend the money. I was hoping to try and upgrade my my health. You know what? Let's spend anyway. I've got a job at Glover & Glover for now. The medicine is dark and bitter as tar. It would be easy to suspect that I am being poisoned. And in the meantime, let's talk about the deep dark mysteries. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that is what I want. Tristan interludes. If I have a particular friend, now is the time to renew our connection. So, some days are better than others. Sometimes the sky is nothing like a filthy sheet. Sometimes the river runs clear. Coming up, we've got a season of suspicion, so that is going to have some the decision to talk about publicly about esoteric matters is going to have a consequence in the fact that I'm likely going to attract the attentions of a hunter. But the fact of the matter is I have to make some progress anyway, and clearly getting followers to deal with the Long's challenges will be a fairly high priority. I think I'm going to preserve this by turning it into a lesson learned, although I think I just blew my chances of upgrading my passion. Yeah, actually, I went a little. I lost my head. I should have taken the passion and studied. That probably would have been sufficient. Rose has sharpened her cunning to a concentrated point. So maybe if it wasn't clear between the two videos, we had upgraded Rose using our Grail lore, and she is now a level 5 Edge follower. Preparing an action, and our mortal enemy is preparing their next action. In this case, I might actually want to send Rose now that... so preparation's ongoing. Our immortal enemy is preparing to launch another action. And now shadowy presence, their power is formidable, their identity as yet unknown. Once the Long's might, connections, or starlight reaches 3, it may be possible to unmask them. Okay, I'm actually going to, again, I'll reserve it just in case I don't want to get too jumpy as far as the Long is concerned. Let's see what the effects are before we go. I'm safe for now. The meddler's attention must be elsewhere. A relief. All right, so I don't need to worry about... Looks like we're actually getting a patron here, so we can learn from each other in 40 seconds. Clerks file out in silence. I am free for now. And now we'll go back to the work site, although I did just lose this vitality. There are more windows in my soul, but sunlight is not the only thing that passes through a window. I've gained passion, but it will be more difficult to gain passion next time. That's right. I forgot. I just need the 2 and the study verb. So this vitality is going to go away unless I do. There's little cheaty things I can do, like lock it in the study. But we can play the game as it properly designed. So what I'll probably wind up doing is paint a little bit more often now that I've got my passion. I can still get Rose to go investigate other locations. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to study right now. And what I can afford to do is go to the wood with my passion, because there'll be some secret histories I want to pick up. Good. Okay, the fascination did go away in time, so... Patron, we can learn from each other. So I've gained some mystique. One of the things that I was planning on doing once I had the vivid imagination was use the basically talking about the arcane arts. I wanted that to generate some mystique, which would help me sell some paintings. But right now we've got Sulochana Amavasaya, the laconic, energetic, bright-eyed, unblinking owner of the Ecdysis Club. So I can talk about the Anthic elaboration or Sulochana. The challenge is that you have to actually have a topic to talk with Sulochana about, and it's not always obvious what she wants. So I think I'm going to take a minute here and just try and get some more bodies before I go too much farther. I might have found somewhere unusual. So Oriflammes is nice. This will give me some extra... This is going to wind up giving me some books. It's nice if I find Moorlands first, because Moorlands is a more guaranteed pace at which I'll be acquiring some books, but I can pick up some things from there. So Oriflamme specializes in curios, perfumes, taxidermy specimens, and rare texts. It operates from cramped new premises now since the destruction of the old by an unexplained fire. You can buy or sell items at Oriflamme's. I'm still going to send Rose out to find new locations. I think we're in a comfortable enough position to be able to sort of keep sending her out. The other thing is that it leaves the study verb available for me to upgrade some of my other, some of my other stats. All right, hireling. I found someone who might pay to enact regrettable necessities. No reason for me to hire an edge hireling like that. Believes Rose is perfectly capable. Now this is a bit of luck. So when you perform certain actions, as I'm very fond of saying in other playthroughs, this game has some really interesting ideas. There's lots of implications that are sort of hidden within the cards. So one of the really interesting things about the world of this game, this world which is now known as the Secret Histories, although the Secret Histories is also a type of lore inside of the game here. You have the world of ideas. You have these locations that I'll be visiting. We'll be taking our first trip into the Mansus by the end of this recording. And in this case, we're going to be going into the wood, sort of the first path. In fact, I should be reading where I'm going. I've learned the path of the wood, the tangled darkness that grows around the walls of the Mansus. Though the Mansus has no walls, I can dream with this to return to the wood. And we used passion with the wood, so now I pass between scar-barked trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I am stumbling over roots now. It is tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. Before that, it said if I have enough passion, I can walk the dream road to the wood. If I have the right knowledge, I might be able to find a way beyond it. So, of course, it does sort of make sense. It's not the first game to have sort of the world, a special world that maybe only the initiated have access to, and the world of the common day. But what is more interesting, and this is maybe if you want to let your inner Platonist out, you have these manifestations of the Mansus, of this world, maybe the true world, or what's lying beneath the skin of the world, however you want to look at it. It actually leaks through, and it's something that manifests itself in different ways. In this particular case here, the aspect of moth, in a mild way, sort of presents itself through passion. Likewise with reason, it is level 2 lantern influence. Health obviously is tied with heart, or maybe not so obviously tied with heart if you don't know what heart is. If you ever want to know, you just click on it. The heart, the relentless beats to protect the skin of the world we understand. The heart is the principle that continues and preserves. So one of the reasons why I wanted to point this out is there's a neat idea in here, right? The game never says, this special world manifests itself through through everyday moments. Like when you have a sudden flash of inspiration, perhaps that was moth touching you at a particular moment. It's a little more explicit when you run into some of the influences and such. But one of the ways that this works mechanically is because I took an action with heart, there's always a chance of one of the associated events popping up, and in this case it's the course of the heart. Whenever the principle of the heart is implicated, I may gain vitality, and this is particularly lucky for me because not only did I just get a vitality for working at the job site, but I'm going to be getting a vitality in 30 seconds as a result of this special event. Likewise, if if I were to do a lot of things with passion, I'm going to be increasing the chance that the moth event happens. It's called Old Unhappy Far Off Things. There's a lantern version, which is related to inspiration. So lots of little tidbits. You know, as a player, sometimes it's just something random happened to you and now you need to deal with it. But in this particular case here, you can actually, maybe not predict, but you definitely can, you can definitely get an idea about what's coming up. Now, a peculiar rumor might be worth following up on. These are really interesting from a story point of view too, so let's maybe just stay at the start of the wood instead of going deeper into the well or the temple of the wood. While I was returning to the depths, one appeared in front of my eyes, whose mouth was sealed. When I saw them, oh, it's not paused. When I saw them in the great emptiness, I cried out. I think that last night I met another soul in the wood. I will never recall exactly what we said one to another, but I think that we will recognize each other in the waking world. And so this is, again, this is the sort of stuff that makes a game like this interesting, right? You've got, you meet someone in a dream, and you don't have any way of communicating with each other, but all of a sudden, you know, you see someone on the street and they're exactly that person from the dream, and maybe you go for coffee and you drop a couple of hints that maybe you know a little bit of something about the way to the wood, and it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship. All right, so I'm still not going to get the hireling. I need to wait 12 seconds before I'm going to be able to work on the peculiar rumor. The course of the heart has been has completed, so we'll exercise the body. I am abrim with vitality. If I devote some time to exercise, I will benefit. So in 1 minute, I'm going to get extra muscles. Our enemy, a rising power. Our immortal enemy has allies and resources in many nations. They move slowly, but as time passes, they will bring more and more of those allies and resources to bear against us. So I believe this is just going to be making my... it's going to be making that someone, that mysterious someone, the immortal, I believe that's just going to be making them more powerful. I don't think we need to deal with that at the moment. So let's carry on. Exotic cravings, what hungers drive us? Nope, there it is. This long has found their way deeper into my dreams, so they've got glimpses of the soul. Our immortal enemy has learnt something of us. An enemy's long starlight will increase, giving them greater power in our dreams. This, of course, carries with it interesting implications. Wait, this person can come inside my dreams? Yes, I'm no longer alone whenever I go inside. This slot, and it suddenly doesn't make me feel very safe. All right, so we're running out of the Savorous Blood, although it's in seconds, so we still have 290 of them. A courier has arrived from our delight with a single vial of their most holy blood. So, of course, I don't really have anything that I can do with it right now. In fact, this is going to, in this particular case, this is going to expire before I can do anything about it here. This probably also means that I'm going to wind up getting sick. So, just in anticipation of the fact that, this is going to expire before the Savorous Blood does, I'm first going to follow up on the peculiar rumor. I suspect that at the end of this story, I may find someone who will hear what I have to say. And let's jump back into the wood. All right, so the question is whether or not I want to continue trying to generate health through doing that physical labor. I think I'm going to at least try and get a little bit of extra vitality doing that. But it's maybe not necessarily the best use of my verb. But you'll notice, of course, now we're at a fairly decent position just as far as making sure that all of our verbs are being occupied. It would be nice to have a few more cultists in order to be able to prepare and protect against the long. I've actually almost said the name of who I think it is a couple of times this broadcast. I really hope I don't spoil the surprise for people. I also don't know if it's who I think it is, but I think I'm probably right. All right. And we were talking about old unhappy far off things, and so here we go. Moth finds light in the dark, and so do I. Now this is a bit of an inconvenient time for me to run into it because I am still going to need to go back to work at Glover & Glover. Or maybe I just want to abandon it. So we found a hanger-on, usefully malleable, but they'll probably never amount to much. You may be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. So we got our passion back, we've got some mystique. Oh, I thought we got notoriety for that. All right, well that makes me feel a little bit more secure in my position. I'll admit the hanger-on is not the most exciting option for me, but let's bring them into the cult nonetheless. And I don't think we have anything I really want to throw away there, so we'll move it in. Exercise the body. I've grown stronger. I've gained health, but it'll be more difficult to gain health next time. So because I was impatient, I wound up having a little more extra time on the work site. But that's life. I'll manage. Couriers arrived from our delight with a single vial of their most holy blood. All right, so we're actually running. We've got a surplus. Not quite sure what to do with that. So I'm going to start reading smart person books, or specifically the paper. Read whatever's to hand. The world is awash in printed words. Even the newspapers contain knowledge sometimes. This is going to be an effort to try and improve my knowledge. Here we go. Track down a rumor. All right, so I was just misreading. So this is me following up on the rumor. Sylvia is the one who I met in my dreams. So an unpromising address, but a promising resident. So we've got notoriety for my trouble now. Sylvia, an acquaintance. Sylvia lost her eye in the woods when she was 9 years old. Every year at Candlemas, she returns to the place she buried it. You might be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. Of course, we've already got that occupied with our talk verb. We've got the talk verb already occupied with the other cultist. And before I let too much time go by, I am going to sell the delightful blood. So bid for rare spices. Our delight's blood is a payment towards a certain special goods for particular connoisseurs. Everything must be just right for the vitulation. All right, so if I stay at the first level of the wood, we get the buzzing in the brain. Ingirum imis nocteat consumi, snip, 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 a second-order influence, apparent to the perceptive, instantly recognizable to an adept. This can be used in some rites to summon minions, and some minions will leave it lingering when they are destroyed. So because I don't particularly want this, we will pick the wheel, or the well, or the temple of the wheel. And let's start with the well. I almost always start with that, but... And we got some extra vitality, so exercise or something rarer has invigorated me. Use with another vitality to improve your ability. Lasts only 3 minutes if unused. The well in the wood is sacred to the Grail, the hour that hungers, and to the velvet, the hour that guards secrets. Tonight as I approached, it heaved with the velvet's moss, struggling waves of deep and vibrant green, pulsing again and again from its throat. It surged around my calves, rose to my thighs, and this morning, I still feel the velvet's breath strong within me. So on that note, we got a couple of trips to the Mansus in. We are starting to swell our ranks. We are on our way to getting the rare spices. We'll perhaps take a minute to, we'll let that, we won't take a minute to finish that off. I did want to toss it over, but we'll maybe take a look and see what's going on in the next stream as to what we're bidding on and why we might want it. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next video.